What's up, dude?
What's up?
What's up, dude? Welcome to
What's
the
up,
fucking
bro?
podcast. It's about fucking time.
Thanks for having me.
Jesus Christ. We're drinking whiskey, right?
Whiskey.
Whiskey.
Irish whiskey.
Irish whiskey. Is this Irish?
I don't know. Hope
Hold
that
on.
didn't offend anybody.
Grangestone. Scotland. It's Scottish. Scottish whiskey.
Even better.
Even better. How many cubes do you take?
2 was the recommended amount, I believe.
2 is the recommended amount by the doctor. 2 cubes a day keeps the doctor away. There we go. Oh yeah, we're fancy as fuck. Oh boy. Have you ever had Grangerstone?
I don't think so.
I've had a couple schwigs.
Schwigs.
Yeah, schwigs.
Schmears. Dude, I got Einstein's this morning. They've gone off the rails.
What does that even mean?
They gave me a pathetic excuse for a schmear.
What is a pathetic excuse for a schmear?
Dude. A schmear is a perfect glaze. It's like a fresh sheet of ice on a hockey rink.
This is coming from a Jewish man from New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Einstein Bagels is like whitewashed bagels.
Wait,
But, I mean,
what does Jewish whitewashed mean?
that's a good point.
Well, hey. What's up, man?
What's going on?
Cheers. We fucking made it. We're back on the podcast.
Back on round 2.
Round 2. I know. We
I don't
didn't
know
air
what
your
happened
first
around-
episode. I'm
oh.
sorry.
Yeah, I didn't make the cut. I wasn't interesting enough.
No, that wasn't the case. It just we were working out the kinks.
The kinks.
Not the kinks that we like, the kinks that have to happen. Cheers. Oh, she good.
Too bad.
Right?
Those are fancy glasses, too.
Yeah, you like that shit?
Yeah.
My wife got those. Upstream podcast, boom. I don't know how much the camera can see that
It's
shit.
just so
but-
interesting to hear. My
What?
wife.
Yeah, right? I'm about it. I love it. It's different, but at the same time, it's like, at least now, you know, it's like having a best friend that I know won't just, I don't know, drop the rent and completely move out. Well, I guess you could still probably do that. You know, that's a problem.
Can't relate.
I'm pretty sure I was that person.
Oh. Yeah.
Who,
when
me?
Dude, I'll never forget when we used to live together and you moved out. And do you remember when we were like wasted and we were like, you were trying to move?
Do I remember when we were wasted? Think about this for a second.
Well, think about this for a second. Do you remember before, it was like 3 months before we moved out, and you were like, we were like moving our beds. We used to push our beds together all the time. 'cause
100%.
We shared a bedroom.
Yeah.
And then one of us slipped because your bed frame was on wheels, and it slipped and broke the fuck out of the window because it was like a ceiling to floor. It was like a full thing.
That window stayed broken
It
till
stayed broken,
till I left.
And then you bounced out of the house early, and Bane like left me to do the final walkthrough with the guy. Dude, I'll never forget the look on this dude's face, how pissed he was about just like the condition.
What was his name?
Sounds-
Dan?
Dan.
Shout out to Dan. I feel bad for Dan. Because he wanted to
feel
kick
bad
us
for Dan,
out
too.
like a year prior.
Dude, we were
to
partying,
us actually
we were
moving out.
partying on the roof, and we got in trouble for that, and they tried to evict us. And then I remember
Yeah.
being on the phone with the homeowner, and then Dan. And Dan
You
was
were on the
like-
phone with the homeowner?
Yeah, and Dan, a 3-way call. I was in front of the house for like 45 minutes. At
You
like
got bus rolled hard.
20 years old, and then Dan was like fighting for us, and I was like, because my excuse was that it wasn't us on top of the roof. It was like people that we had over during a party, and I was like, it wasn't us. so
Even
we
though
didn't
our
know.
neighbor had pictures of us?
It
You think
he
that
had
was the
pictures of-
strongest?
He had the only picture he had was with Dylan in it, and that's how we got away with it.
And he's not on the leash.
Right.
Aha.
So we're just like, oh, we don't know who that is. It was somebody that came over and partied. We didn't know that we weren't allowed on the roof. And that's how we got away with it, because Dan was like, they're good kids. They pay on time, which was true.
We
Never
did
very-
every month.
We fucked so much shit up, but we paid all our bills
We
on
did.
time.
Absolutely.
No matter what.
I think the biggest internal conflict that we had is that we harped on each other so much about paying the rent. It was like, you got rent, right? Yeah, I got rent. Chill out. All right.
Dude,
Because I
I
saw you
don't
just
even
buy a
think-
quarter of weed.
I don't even
I
think,
know,
like-
I know. I'm just making sure.
I don't even think rent was the biggest issue. It was like the electric box.
Oh.
The SRP electric box.
Anybody in
remember,
Arizona
dude.
knows about that fucking electric box.
Well, shitty people in Arizona. It's people that don't know how to pay their bills on time. So it's a pay as you go
Us.
for established people. If you you know you have your life together, you're not going to be able to relate. But if you have bad credit and you don't pay your bills on time, they give you a box, like an arcade box. Like if you ever go to like Dave & Buster's, to give you that card. They don't give you no tokens anymore. It's a card. You put money on the card.
And once
right?
that bitch is out, it's
So you
out.
but you can't like pay it online or anything like that. You have to go to Fry's and put money on the card and then stick it in the box in the outlet in your house.
Uh-huh.
Fucked up. So I remember I had a rude awakening. It was like the first time I was like, oh shit, I'm an adult. We're having a fat party in our house. Well,
Every other fucking night.
What we thought was like a fat party. And all of a sudden, like, power goes out. Right? Do you remember this?
When was this?
It was like early stages of living in that house. Very early. And
Okay.
the power goes out, and everyone's like, oh, what the fuck? Obviously, super unexpected. And then I remember me and Bane had to, like, go to Fry's and put money on the card.
It's like everyone's like,
dude, literally, it was like a, and then it was just like, and everyone was like, yo,
what's going on? Hold on. We got to run to Fry's. We'll be right back.
Wait.
Oh, you going on a beer run? No,
Nah.
but we'll be right back. I think what was funny about that house is we partied so hard to a certain extent, but we were also responsible that I don't know, like we had this conversation earlier that certain people that are our age they can't relate. Like especially people that are not in a managerial position or anything like that. You know, those are the people that are like, oh, you know, I just partied so hard last night. I got so drunk I can't come to work.
Like, oh, I was drinking until 2 a.m. last night. And
Yeah.
I worked this evening at 5. It's 11 a.m. I don't think I can make it on 5. It's just like,
And it's like, I'm sorry, what? You don't know how to function this morning? Because I'm pretty sure I was able to function.
Ooh. You're hungover.
Ooh, you don't know how to function? Ooh, I'm sorry.
Dude, my employees are going to watch this, hopefully. They're just gonna be like, oh, fuck, he's really talking about me right now.
No, I am talking about you motherfuckers. Like, at some point in time, we're so advanced right now. Like, we have an existential amount of communication, text message, phone call, social media, fucking everything under the sun. You're going to sit here and tell me, knowing that you could go to a party and get absolutely obliterated, but also knowing that you really can't handle your shit that much, that either A, you can't cover your shit, or B, you can't find some shit to get you in the right mindset to cover your shit, get the fuck out of here. If we were able to do this 5-6 years ago, so can everyone else.
Yeah.
It's a terrible way to think, because everyone else is like,
I mean,
well, you're not in my shoes. Fuck you.
I try not to make our problems lesser or more than someone else's, but like I think like mental health issues right now are like huge, so people are going off the rails without.
Did you hear the fucking cock-a-doodle-doo going on?
Yeah. I don't know. People don't have limits right now, I feel. Because of just
What do you mean by
the
people don't have limits?
Circumstances of what's going on in the world. They're just getting fucked up.
Yeah, but we were doing that without the pandemic. We did a very good job without the panorama. So, you know, what's the difference, I guess, is people can't go out. Okay, that's one thing. People can't, the people that can't work, I sympathize with, only because it almost drives a sense of purpose. You know, someone that can't work, their purpose has been halted, right? Because some people, work is their only purpose. That's what they go in with the mindset of, I'm going to do the best job that I can possibly do, because that's all I have going on for me right now. And if I'm being honest, I sympathize with those people, because there's a lot of people right now that's the only thing that they have going on.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. I mean, especially the generation that's like right below us. Even us, we can't go out and do anything. So like right now, my life kind of just consists of like work and exercise. There's not a lot of like getting together with my friends and
yeah, but you still, I mean, Arizona is number 1 in the country right now, right?
Yeah.
And I got to be honest with you, knock on wood, I have yet to catch the virus because I wear my fucking mask in public. I wear my mask, and at the end of the day, I'm going to ask you before I hang out with you, you sick?
Right.
No, I'm all right. Okay, well, what's all right? Oh, I sneezed yesterday. Okay, cool. Not hanging out with you today. Or you all right? Yeah, I'm all right. Someone close to me got sick, but I should be okay. Okay, great. Not hanging out with you today.
Right.
Like, it's those preface questions that need to be asked. Whereas most people our age, not asking those questions. Also not taking the precautionary boundaries. Like, most of them are walking around with their masks here, right? Underneath the nose, and they're like, it should be fine. It completely defeats the fucking purpose.
Well, I guess with my experience specifically, it's like I feel like our generation and lower, they're quite liberal. I feel like it's always the older generation that I see like problems with that with.
Correct. But you see a lot of our generation copying the older generation because that's all they know.
Right. So
and
it's
that's
funny
a problem.
because I see the older generation, not wanting to wear masks, not believing things. But the younger generation is like, wear your mask, do all these things, same thing that we're preaching now. But like a lot of them are like going out to clubs, and they're like, there's partitions in between our club seats and we're 6 feet apart. It's like but they're still gonna be like, wear your mask. It's totally contradicting what
Here's a question that I
they're
have.
saying.
You and I have been best friends for a long fucking time.
Yeah.
You were my best man at my wedding.
Hey.
At the
Is there a video
of what?
The speech?
We should talk about that, but
Yeah,
in a
okay,
second.
fine.
We went out for my bachelor party. We went to a strip
4
club.
days in a row. The bachelor party lasted how many hours during 4 days? 90 something.
It was disgusting. But during those 4 days, we went to the same strip club twice.
4 times.
Was it 4 times?
It was like 4 times.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So either way, we did our fair share of debauchery, but we wore our mask up until we didn't need to. And for some reason, none of us caught the virus.
None of us caught the
Think
virus.
about that for a
My
second.
theory is that like I think I had it in like January of like last year.
You think you had it?
I mean, I don't know what the fuck it could have been, but I went on Friendship, which is like a cruise rave, and that was like in January of 2020.
Well, yeah.
And
Hold on. This is a rave
on
cruise ship called Friendship.
Mm-hmm.
That makes
It's
sense.
fantastic. Highly recommend Friendship.
It
Shout out
sounds-
Destructo.
it
Shout
sounds
out
dope.
Friendship.
Sounds dope, but
Yeah.
it's called Friendship.
Yes, and the
That's
reason
the
why
most
is
rave name I've ever heard.
Have
in
you
my
ever heard
life.
of Holy Ship? Yes. Before you fucking make your fucking noises. So it's a cruise rave. They go to like the Dominican Republic and the Bahamas and shit. Super tight.
Do you get time off the boat?
Uh-huh.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. And
Have
get,
you done it?
Private. Yeah.
Oh.
I went last year.
Just asking. I don't know if
Yeah,
it's
I
just
went-
something you know
yeah,
about or
no,
what.
No. So Holy Ship was created by a DJ named Destructo. Shout out Jerry. And
How's Jerry doing these days?
Dude, he's tight. And they he created that event, and then he got overthrown. Like he got fired from his own creation.
No
He's like, whatever,
shit.
you guys aren't my real friends. So then he made Friendship, which is like another spin-off, like another cruise line. Way better, by the way.
It has to speak words for a DJ that can have his own cruise line and just or be a part of a cruise line and then get kicked off and be like, I'm up there. So
Yeah.
fuck you guys. I'm gonna start my own cruise line.
Right. So I went on Friendship last year. Incredible experience. And that was like right when you started hearing like very small bits and pieces about coronavirus.
You didn't hear small bits of it. You saw memes on Facebook of people drinking Corona, and it was like, oh, coronavirus, dude.
Yeah, that's basically what it was. And like right after I got off the boat, like a week later, everybody that I knew that went was like sick as a fucking dog. Like never been that sick before.
You included.
I was pretty.
What were you
'cause
sick with? Like, what was your?
It was like flu-like symptoms, not like what you hear about today as
Right.
far as symptoms of COVID, like um, taste and smell loss or anything. I didn't experience any of that, but also it could have just been being on a cruise for like 5 days, touching everything that everybody else
Right.
touched, and just being in such close quarters with everybody, like on the ocean or whatever.
Snorting everybody's drugs.
Right,
That's
right,
important.
right, right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So it could have been that, but I'm not happy about like the exposure that I get, obviously, of going out and everything like that. But I mean, it's the only thing that's like keeping me sane. Like,
But you wear your mask.
yeah,
You
I
wear your
work
mask in public. You wear
I
your
work-
mask around other people.
Right. So I mean, I work in a restaurant now. I go to the gym. I'm not like, but like, I'm not thrilled about the exposure that I'm getting either. I know that I'm like contributing to the problem as far as Arizona's being like
You
the
think
worst
so?
in the world. I mean, I go out, I go to the gym, I work in a restaurant. Like I'm very much exposed to a very decent amount of people.
Correct.
Those are the only things that I do though.
But you wear your mask.
Right.
I think that's the biggest misconception is most people that are like, we don't need to wear the mask. And then 3 weeks later, those are the people getting sick.
Dude, it's crazy. So I work at a restaurant that my sister owns, and
Shout out to
shout out
Verdura.
Verdura.
Hey,
Yeah,
number one vegan restaurant in Arizona, right?
2 years in a row.
Shit.
Yeah. They've been open for as of February of this year. So literally, what is today? February 1st, or
It's the 31st of January, so tomorrow.
Tomorrow it'll be 2 years exactly. They opened in 2019.
They're about to
February.
open another location, right? Or in the works?
That's in discussion at the moment.
Okay.
Um,
Where is it located as of right now?
it's
The
in
first-
Uptown Phoenix in
Okay.
Missouri and 7th Street. It's kind of tucked away in a corner, but it's still very much
Tucked away in the corner as the number one vegan restaurant in Phoenix
right.
or Arizona.
Yeah.
Get fucked.
Yeah. So like even despite like the location, everything like that, they're kicking. They're doing well.
Well, I see their social media presence too is super heavy. Like,
Yeah, my sister runs all of that as well. She's very on top of it.
Dude,
posting
killing
every
it.
day. Yeah, she's doing really well. But you know, you and I both work for like Fox, and that's like a very much like a man upstairs. Like you have to just like bow down to the guests. Or whatever. Now with COVID going on, my sister and I are like the people that run the fucking building. Like
Right.
we can say whatever. It's a locally owned business. We can tell people to fuck off for not wearing a mask. Straight up, like a couple of days ago, I had a dude square up with me because yeah, dude, it was nuts. I had a dude square up with me because he wouldn't wear a mask. I have people come in all the time that don't want to wear
That's a
them,
little
and
surprising.
It's always the older generation.
that's a little surprising. You have someone coming into a vegan restaurant not
Dude,
wearing
you
a
would-
mask.
you
I
would
mean,
be- you would
don't
be
get me wrong.
surprised.
I'm sure anyone can be vegan. Anyone, regardless of their beliefs, can be vegan, whatever. But you're telling me that there was someone that believes in all organic everything, heal the earth, heal this, that, and the other,
Dude, it's,
and they walked in
yeah.
with no mask and they wanted to fight about it?
Dude, you would be very surprised with the shit I got to deal with. You would expect that like this is I'm not vegan myself, but I don't want to make assumptions about the culture. But what I've experienced
will.
is most of the people that do have beliefs in that regard are quite liberal, and they're gonna respect the rules of wearing masks. They believe coronavirus exists,
Right.
everything like that. And being a locally owned business, Verdura, it's they're struggling due to COVID. It's just takeout and to go, everything like that. So
You guys aren't
sales-
offering dine-in right now. Okay.
No.
Well,
So
that's
you
smart.
can eat your to-go food on the patio.
Yeah.
Sure.
But see,
not-
that's
but people still think that's dining. They
but
think-
that's the business taking an extra step to
Right.
recuperate
exactly
loss of sales from dine-in.
right. And so when people come in with no mask, still we can't really afford to not have their business. So we're giving
Right.
masks to people that don't have them. However,
Most places are doing that.
yeah, the right places are doing that as well.
And people don't realize it's an excess cost
Right.
to the restaurants they love.
Exactly. So you would be mind blown of the people that come in there. They walk in, no mask. And I'm like, hey, do you have a mask? Nicely. And they're like, no. And I'm like, can I give you one? They're like, yeah, but I'm not going to fucking wear it. And I'm like, well, then you can't eat here. And then it's like, it begins this like outbreak of like a back and forth argument. And it's mind blowing. So let me tell you about the story about this guy the other day. This guy comes in with his two friends. I'll just say they're friends. I don't know what their relationship was. One male, one female. Larger gentleman, bald, comes in, no mask. None of them do. And we have an A-frame sign
Mhm.
right outside the door that says guests must wear mask in our building. Kind of like a no shoes, no shirt, no fucking mask service,
Yeah.
right? So guy takes my A-frame and brings it inside. And I'm like, hey, what are you doing with my sign? And he's like, oh, it's not necessary. And I'm like, it is. Do you have a mask? And he goes, no. And I was like, well, let me give you one. And he was like, you can, but I'm not going to wear it. And I was like, then you cannot eat here and I cannot serve you. And he's like, so you're telling me I have to wear my mask in here, but when I go outside, I don't have to wear it. And I'm like, precisely, like, that's correct.
Could not be more on point.
Right. So he's like, well, then come take my order outside. And I'm like, we are not dine in. You order from me here. You go outside, you take your mask off. I bring the food out to you out there. Simple process. And he's like, can you try to get me to understand why this is? And I'm like, bro, it's not my job to get you to understand why. These are the rules. I don't make them. I just enforce them. And he goes, are you challenging me right now? Walks up right up to the fucking desk. Like, there's like a partition.
Yeah.
It's like plexiglass. He walks right up to it. He goes, are you challenging me right now?
He pulls up all Conor McGregor and shit.
Fists up. And I'm just like sitting there. I'm like, I didn't back up or anything, but I was like, have you been working and someone's mad at you, like a guest, and you're just like, I kind of wish they'd.
More often than I'd like to admit.
Yeah, me too. So this guy literally just goes like this, and then his two friends literally just pulled him out, and they're just like, we know, we get it, and then they left. But I was
his name Chad?
I don't fucking know.
His name was Chad.
Probably, but like
100%.
I just can't believe that like. Do you want food or?
It blows my mind that
just, like,
someone with that mentality would go into a vegan place. And again, you know, not to put stigma, but most people
just like arguing.
Most people that are going on a vegan or a vegetarian diet are conscious about their health. And if you're conscious about your health, then maybe you should be conscious about a fucking pandemic. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
And then the craziest thing is like a lot of people go online on Yelp or whatever they want to put on the internet, and they talk about like the rudeness of the Verdura staff. We get that very often, and it's always like,
why? Because you're enforcing fucking rules?
Exactly. And they're just like, we can't believe the tone that we got when we walked in with no mask and shit. But
right here, buddy.
Like, there's like by the time you get out of your car to the time you walk into the building, there's like 3 signs that says like mask enforcement.
So is this the first time that you've experienced this, or has it been?
No, this is just the most recent. Every day, bro. Like,
dude, most people that work in the restaurant industry are dealing with the same thing that you are. And when people walk in without a mask, you're like, hey, you have to wear a mask. And they're like, oh, I left it in the car. What the fuck do you mean you left it in the car? It's almost been a year, bro.
Right. I mean,
it's almost been a year.
People think that just because it's 2021 now that COVID doesn't exist anymore.
New year, new me. No, it's just funny to me that people don't think that this is still a thing, and it is. Granted, we have the vaccine rolling out, and that's great. But first off, most people opted out of getting the vaccine.
Did you know that I Am Legend was taking place in 2021?
Shut up.
And the zombie outbreak was due to a failed vaccine.
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
My wife got the vaccine.
How'd your kids? How'd your wife?
Oh, boy.
You got the vaccine?
Oh
yeah, your teacher.
I mean, hey, if I was able to get the vaccine, I would. Like, if I was able to just go up to a clinic and fucking get pricked in the arm, absolutely. What? You don't know? You don't think so?
Did you say if you can go up to a random stranger and get pricked in the
No,
arm?
dick. If I had gone up to like a CVS or a Walgreens and they're like, hey, we have the COVID vaccine, I'd be like, great, give it to me. I'm tired of fucking not enjoying my life. I'm tired of not being able to go out. So if this is the one thing that's going to allow me to go out, hey, I'm here for it. And if it needs to take 3 to 6 months for everyone else to get on board, I'm here for it. Now, most people are like, well, you know, there's fucking microchips and there's fucking... Dude, okay, great. You also thought that there was a fucking child sex ring going on in a pizza parlor in Boston a bunch of years ago, and then some dude walked in with an AK-47, they checked it out, and everything was fine.
Give me the chip. Give me the chip.
What?
Give me the chip. I'm down.
Maybe
I don't care if they have to stick an entire iPad up my ass. If I can go to a festival again, if I can go and do some shit in a festival porta-potty again...
Do what shit
Give
in
me the
a
fucking chip.
do what shit in a festival porta potty again? What shit are you talking about?
Cut to next conversation.
So you bring up an interesting point. You know, give me the vaccine. Give me this. Like, you know, whatever. I find it funny that people are backing away from the vaccine when, first and foremost, the entire idea of a pandemic wasn't really on the forefront of everyone's mind a year ago. And then all of a sudden it happened and it's like, how do we get back to normalcy? I just want normalcy. Okay. Well, we're about a year in. We've figured out a vaccine, or at least something that's damn near close. And everyone's like, don't trust it. Don't trust it. The same company that came up with Viagra and came up with a reason for me to get a fucking hard on, Pfizer, fuck you, don't trust it. That makes no sense to me. Why don't you just...
You know what you should try to get a partnership with?
Oh, God. Pfizer?
Blue Chew.
Blue Chew?
Mm-hmm.
I have heard about this. And it's basically a pill you chew and you just get fucking real quick.
It's basically like it's supposed to be like the best version of Viagra. Whatever that's supposed to mean.
Yeah,
I've
what
never
is that?
tried it.
I'm pretty sure Viagra is the best version of Viagra, isn't it? There can't be anything better than Viagra. It pretty much set a standard for itself.
You can like go to sleep at night and then wake up in the morning and your girl's just like, you're an animal in your sleep. That's what I've heard. Shout out Blue Chew if you want to send me some of that for free.
Edward Joseph, Blue Chew certified. He actually took a Blue Chew right before he came in here just to make sure he was on point.
Just to make sure I was on point. Yeah.
Dude, I'm so glad that you're on this podcast.
Yeah.
Cheers, man. When we
Cheers, bro.
first conceptualized the podcast and the room was a little different, we had you on and it was a great conversation, but unfortunately it wasn't. The conversation was great, but
we had fucking Brandon in the corner like barred out.
Hey, we love Brandon. We love
Brandon.
him. We love him.
But yeah. All right.
But every now and again, it would just...
So we would be like deep in a conversation, like 20, 30 minutes into a topic. And then he would kind of just be like, what? Or like bring up something from like 45 minutes ago. And I'm like...
He's actually... You know, he's graduated now.
I did.
He's graduated.
In physics. That's crazy.
Fucking
Good for
legit.
him. Congrats, Brandon.
And he's as legit of a musician as he is.
One-punch knockout historian, the Mike Tyson of physics. Dude.
Most people don't know
Don't cross that motherfucker.
99.9% of people don't know what you're talking about. Would you love to elaborate?
Oh, so the very notorious Wise Wedding.
Oh, boy.
It was... I knew going into it that it's not going to be a proper Wise Wedding without somebody without the cops, without somebody going to the hospital,
without someone throwing up in the parking lot.
Someone throwing up in the parking lot. Many people offended. Fire. I don't know.
Death, destruction.
Yeah. So Tyler and Kristen somehow made it out sober. Get out in their limo, and then I went into like the bathroom of the.
Here, make sure you pull that mic right up in your dick hole. There you go.
ASMR. So I know you left like all the groomsmen left a bunch of stuff in the room that we got ready in.
Right.
So took it upon myself to go get it because everyone was about to leave, and I come out, and then all of a sudden like some girl comes up to me. It's like, "You're the best man, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "There's a dude over there on the ground," and I was like, okay. So I like look over and it's just Gabe, is that his name?
Yeah.
Just like like somebody should have just drawn like a white light, like a white outline around this dude.
Yo, shout out to my boy Gabe, because I apologize for this, but
yeah,
fuck me if that was not the highlight
before
of the
I went into the room to get all the groomsmen's like clothes, they were like bickering at each other and didn't pay attention to it, and I walk out and Gabe's on the floor and there's blood on the ground. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh boy.
And then I just remember Kristen's mom just like running to the scene, and she's like, if anyone wants to get arrested, stick around. If not, get the fuck out. Yeah.
For Kara to make that announcement is huge.
And then that's the last I remember.
That's when the rest of the tequila kicked
straight
in.
up, like, the last I remember was Kristen's mom, like, everybody get the fuck out, and me, like, walking to a car with Bane running.
Oh,
And then
Jesus.
I swear to God, this is like before midnight or something. 3 p.m. the next day, I wake up face down in my bed, keys in hand, phone in hand, in my full suit. And like my knees down, hanging off my bed, just like faced.
Oh.
And I was like, I haven't like, that's a wise wedding. Like, dude, I haven't woken up like that since the 730.
Absolutely.
I swear to God, I felt like I was 20, but I felt like I was 80.
Oh, Jesus. Dude, I remember, I don't think, we've talked about the wedding a couple times on this podcast, not so in depth, but a lot of people that went were people that knew Kristen and I together. A majority of the people that went knew when Kristen and I were together. A majority of the people, or a small amount of people, knew when it was us as separates. And you being my best man at the wedding, like you gave, and we even cleared this, like you texted me like, how fucked up can I get on this speech? And I was like, dude,
it had
fucking
to. Like,
send
you
it.
couldn't just, I wouldn't be able to live with myself if it was just like,
me and Tyler are best friends, and nobody can take us apart, and it's been picture perfect from the start.
Oh, dude, I don't think people.
fuck out of here.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how in depth your.
Well, they weren't ready.
No
But,
one
like,
was.
I mean, I felt really bad. I got to find my feels because I got super drunk.
You came up to me after the fact, and you were like, "I don't feel like I belong here anymore," and I was like, "Dude, shrug all that off." And it wasn't until like 2 or 3 days after when her and I started hearing the backlash that we were like,
It was just
you heard
speech.
what?
It's just a speech.
Yeah, but her and I heard the full speech because you were right next to us.
Right.
The audio was cutting in and out.
I thought it was turned off.
No, it was on, and then it was turned off,
I'm pretty sure.
and then it was turned back on.
Turned off.
Oh
Because
boy.
it was.
Yeah, well, some people at the wedding thought that it wasn't. It was a little NSFW.
Hey, I warned him.
You warned me.
No, I warned the parents of the bridal party.
Did you?
Yeah.
This is
And
new
your
information.
grandmother. So during my table was like one of the first to get their food.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So like ate really quick, and then I don't know what. I mean, I was fucking hammered. Went over to like the table where like the parents were, and I was like, hey, just
Creeping up, just
hey, so good to see ya.
beer in hand.
Just
How you
so
doing?
know.
Cheers.
And I was like, I recommend that you finish your drink before I start and have another one in hand because you're gonna need it. It wasn't like that, but I was very polite about it. And I was like,
When I saw you break your phone out is when I knew thought went into this.
oh yeah, it was.
I saw you break your phone. I'm like, oh boy. Here we
Well,
go.
if I should have written it because it would have been a fucking scroll. But no, at the rehearsal dinner the night before, I went up to both you and Kristen. You don't remember this for some reason. I was like, hey,
I remember a good amount from
doing
that night.
my final revisions. How explicit can I be? And you were like, go for it. Looked me in the eye and were like, go for it.
Well, it was because at that point, there was something that had happened, within our family that it was like the floodgates are open. Everyone knows everything. And at that point, I was like, I hope that they know who I am as a person, like let everyone know because I don't have anything to hide. I don't have anything to hide. Like I'm an open book. So when you came onto the stage and you just started spouting off, her and I are sitting here laughing the whole time, just having a fucking blast. My wife is over here, by the way. She's not on camera, but hi, wife. But we're having a fucking baller time. And then you just start going on about our friendship
Yeah.
and the jokes that you and I have, and everyone else is offended. But what's funny is it's not about
I think they're offended
them.
because, I mean, things are supposed to be picture perfect at a wedding, and I think they were offended because they didn't want. I think people were afraid to laugh
Oh yeah.
at it.
Oh
'Cause they're like, oh,
yeah.
if I laugh, then like I'm gonna be looked at as someone who can relate to all this.
But you're gonna sit here and
craziness.
tell me that a whole bunch of people that lived through the 60s and 70s never did acid? Get the fuck out of here. Or if they did live through the 60s and 70s and didn't do any acid, you're the people we're making fun of.
Right. I mean,
It comes down to that. And you're looking at me like, my parents are gonna hate me for this. Look,
they weren't there. Thank God.
I'm pretty sure I invited your parents.
Yeah. No, you definitely invited them, but they
Okay, good.
they're-
That made me feel better.
They were like, they didn't want to go because they saw the number of people that were going to be there and they like COVID.
And here's the thing. We had a wedding during like spiked Arizona COVID numbers.
It's always been spiked,
But
that was,
no
like,
one got
peak of-
sick.
Peak of everyone's
No one got
like,
sick,
fear.
which is huge.
Right.
And we know that for sure. Like, we've been in contact with no one got sick. That is a fucking godsend, right? But at the same time, this goes back to my thought when it comes to COVID. The people that catch the virus are people that are hanging around with people that aren't too fucking bright because they're doing stupid shit.
Right. There was.
I might get a good amount of flack out of this because it's like, I don't hang out with stupid people and I caught COVID. Yeah, well, guess what? You hang out with stupid people because you caught it. Sorry.
There was plenty of mask wearing at the event.
Oh, yeah. People that were compromised were wearing masks.
Right.
People that were our age were even wearing masks. But there's some people that I can just sit here and trust. There were some people that contacted us the day of and they're like, not feeling too great, not going to go. And I'm like, perfect. Stay the fuck home.
Right.
No one got sick.
Good. Yeah, good. Nobody got
Excellent.
sick.
Good on them.
But if you went, you're in for a treat.
Do you remember when Nirvana came on? Smells Like Teen Spirit, and everyone just fucking jammed the fuck out.
During like the reception,
Oh yeah.
or was it when they were announcing the bridal party?
No one could hear the announcing of the bridal party.
Yeah, that DJ was whack.
Yeah, fuck that DJ.
I remember your brother, your
Which one?
dad's other son.
Sam.
Yeah. Fucking wild man.
Bro.
Did the splits and there's a photo of it on Facebook.
100%. Samuel not only did the splits, but he was rocking and rolling all
Dude.
fucking night.
Kid's funny as fuck. Isn't he like 17 or some shit?
He's 18 now. He turned 18 December 1st. I'm waiting on him to move out here.
He doesn't live here.
Not yet.
Where
He's
he
in
live?
Kansas City, Missouri.
Is
Dude,
he
the
hanging
kid,
out with
the
Huck
kid,
Finn and shit?
the kid is a phenomenal actor. That kid can sing,
really?
he can act, he can fucking do the splits. That he can do all the shit. I'm waiting on him to move his ass out here. Let's take a quick break because A, I got to take a piss, and B, huh? All right, let's take a quick break.
talking here.
We're talking here. Let's take a quick break. And it's after the other one? Perfect.
You didn't hear the metronome, man?
I'm just making sure that it's after the fact. Okay, dude. Seems like you need more whiskey.
I would love more.
I think we need to make that happen. So we went off on a tangent about my wedding, and that's important. Jesus Christ. All of this ice is stuck together. Oh. Twofer. Have you ever had Granger Stone before this?
No.
Me neither. Hopefully they can. I mean, this isn't a paid sponsorship, but I wouldn't hate a paid sponsorship like Granger Stone. That's all I'm
I
saying.
think I've definitely had something with a very similar label. Maybe I have had it before, just a different style or.
It's
whatever.
phenomenal. I mean, this is
Yeah, it's good. It's really smooth.
this was given to me as a wedding gift by one of my boys, Matt Berry. Shout out to Matt Berry. But it's fucking good. Like,
It is good.
nothing too harsh, especially you got 2 cubes going. Like, not mad.
What was that thing that Gabe gave you that was like engraved as like wood?
Dude, he went above and beyond. He gave me a
Shout out to Brandon.
Jesus Christ. Gabe gave me a engraved
Oh, it was a decanter.
it was a decanter, yeah,
Yeah.
but for wine, and it had Tyler and Kristen Wise.
Is it here?
No, it's not. It's at the home. We keep that at the house just in case. I mean, I could keep it here, but like
It's in the stew.
it's in the stew. Dude. There's certain things that I keep in the studio. Like I don't know why I'm putting this down here. We should put it up here. There we go. Next to Pathwater. By the way, have you had Pathwater?
Bathwater?
No, not Belle Delphine.
Oh, dude, I was about to bring her up. She says, bro, I've been thinking about.
No, you haven't.
I know somebody want it. Somebody want water that I bathe in.
Maybe. I don't think so. I don't think
Somebody like it.
Okay. I'm just saying. Have you had Pathwater?
No.
No. Have you even looked into Pathwater? No. This is for you. Boom.
Pathwater.
Yeah, that's alkaline Pathwater, by the way. And then we're going to put Grangestone. up here
Alkaline
as well.
Pathwater.
A little Grangestone action. So, Pathwater's fucking dope. They actually, I mean, we're nobody. And they saw our little ad reel and they were like, yo, are you smelling the water right now?
Yeah, it's alkaline.
I smell
I don't know what that means.
it just means it's a higher pH. And I'm sure it has other, abilities that I am an idiot and don't know about. But no, they saw us and they were like, we want to help you guys out. They fucking gave us an entire pack of water, which is dope, but it's what they stand for, which is something completely different. Like there's
electrolytes in it?
Yeah. Well, in the alkaline one.
So I'm gonna get hydrated?
Hopefully. Fuck. I mean, depends on how dehydrated you are, I guess. No, Pathwater's dope. Everything is recycled. They're a company that like genuinely wants you to reuse all of their.
So you can like use this as like a hydro, basically.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Well, what's cool is I took that, and there was one time when we had a guest on the show. I had not refrigerated anything. I took that, I put it in the freezer. I kid you not, 5 minutes. And that water was cold as shit. Like, it was ice cold. And I don't know if that's something that they like,
Will it keep it cold?
Oh, yeah.
well?
Oh, yeah.
What about hot?
I don't know about all that. But no, everything is recyclable. When it comes to like reusing the bottle, they want you to do that. Actually, there's a little thing on there where you can put your name.
Yeah.
Yeah. As if to say like, this is my fucking bottle. And then you just refill it. Like they're not looking for you to buy more. I mean, obviously they're a company. They want you to buy their product, but they want you to reuse the bottle. And that's legit.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's pretty next level.
So
Everything.
don't put some Arrowhead in this bitch.
I mean,
That's disrespectful.
I would say it's a little blasphemous, but fuck it. If you can just reuse this bottle and take that Arrowhead one and put it in the recycle bin, that's another thing.
Recycle bin?
I don't know. Who uses a recycle bin? I do.
I'm supporting your statement.
I'm just saying, on point.
Or just don't use plastic bottles.
Exactly.
I got a hydro recently, and I was like very much excited about it. That's how I knew I was getting old.
Well, what's cool with Pathwater is once you get a shipment of Pathwater, you can use all of those bottles more than one time. Wash them out, fucking refill it, use it as a hydro flask. It might not be the exact same. Keep it cold for 24 hours, but dude, if I put that shit in a freezer for 5 minutes, I'm good for the next 2 hours.
Nice.
Pretty next level.
I fucks with cold water.
Hell yeah. Also a company that recycles, but anyway, yeah, Pathwater's the shit. I highly recommend them. 100% shout out. You want to talk about another thing that I'm shouting out?
Yeah, tell me about them glasses.
Dude, So
I'm
everyone's been
feeling
giving.
hostile over here.
What do you mean hostile,
Yeah, give me some green relaxation,
dude? Everyone's been giving me shit about the green relaxation. The fucking
Dude, I had a pair of purple ones, and
it's next
slapped.
level.
They were tight.
See, I'm not a purple guy. I'm a green guy. Everything green.
Oh, I know.
I mean, fuck, look around. So I've been investing in different glasses, and these ones were my go-to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just got these bad boys, and this is from Future Mood. This is not a sponsorship. They don't sponsor us. There's nothing like that. But I bought Future Mood's glasses, and next level. Here, hold on. Put these on. I love everything green. I'm all about it. What do you think?
These are tight. That light's really bright right now.
Well, it's the fucking screen light. But you get the idea, right? Okay. So I just got these Future Mood green glasses. First off, talk about the fucking packaging, next level. But also, dude, this is some next level shit. Like, I'm having a hard time opening them. Fuck you. Okay. Skadoosh. Yeah, dude. Whereas, like, with those, you can see out the sides where it's like color, like vibrant because it's not green. These ones, everything's green. Everything's green.
Right. It doesn't block your peripherals on the one I'm wearing right now.
Correct. And then also on that same thing, like everything is noticeably green. It's not just like a lighter color.
Those?
These ones.
Yeah.
The Future Mood ones.
Let me try.
The Future Mood glasses are like everything is noticeably green, whereas that just kind of gives like a green hue to everything.
Yeah. You can like
Do you
still
see what I mean?
tell. I can still tell the color of everything.
Correct.
It's just a green tint.
But these give them a shot. Give them a shot.
These ones look bold.
Boom. Oh, they're heavy duty for sure. Oh, he's taking the fucking headphones off and
These
everything.
are too big. It's gonna move the headphones.
Boom. Oh.
Damn.
Oh. You put those on and the fuck.
Yeah.
Even the ice rumbled.
You ever watched the mountains crumble?
Yeah. See, I put these on and like, don't get me wrong, they're great, and I love seeing everything in a lighter green aspect. But like those ones,
This is like tripping me out.
right?
I like literally feel like I'm high or something.
It's different.
Tight.
It's different. Cheers to Future Mood.
Cheers, eyebrow.
Hey, bruv.
Dude, I fuck with the UK culture super hard.
Yeah?
I love it.
Well,
And
you're a
Australian,
DJ, so
yeah.
you probably...
Dude, so bad. I wish I was from the UK. I swear to God.
Really?
Just having that accent makes you just a better producer. I swear.
You think so? How so?
They're just the best ones to ever do it. Like
In what way?
In like the house and techno scene. Dude,
Would you wear those glasses while you were doing a set?
Perhaps. I mean, I don't like to be very loud with what I wear.
Mm-hmm.
I like subtlety, but style. These are a little. I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to look at it.
You say that you're
DJ
quiet
board.
with subtlety and your style, but like you are wearing an entire jumpsuit right now. Not a jumpsuit, but
a tracksuit.
a tracksuit that it's money, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, it's velvet. But like
All
this isn't like
roses.
loud though.
No, it's very subtle.
Like if I'm in like a room, like I'm not gonna like stick out. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not wearing vibrant colors. That's loud to me.
That's me.
Right.
I like that
Yeah.
style.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know what looking at a DJ board would look like with these glasses on.
No?
I don't know. It could.
I'll give you a hint. Probably pretty green.
Yeah. There's a lot of colors on a DJ board.
I kind of want to touch on one more thing with this setup here is I got this box not really realizing what I was getting myself into. Like I saw it as an Instagram ad, and most Instagram ads, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. But I saw these and I was like, okay, they might not be safe to drive with. I'm interested.
You
So-
drive with these?
Oh fuck yeah!
How? Yeah, immediately look at your wife. How do you tell what fucking
Believe it or not,
street light is?
You
green or not?
can see the streetlights. I know, but I know it says
Pretty
not
dangerous.
to. I know it says not to, but I did. But in this packaging, like, dude, this thing is.
Does it tell you in the packaging not to drive with these?
I'm pretty sure it says not approved for driving. Yeah, 100% it says that.
Don't promote driving in these. I would never drive in these.
Yeah, but you know,
I'm not gonna sponsor you now.
what's cool is apparently
I'll sponsor you. Send them to me.
in
My favorite color is blue.
they have those. They have blue ones. They got orange. They got purple. They got all
I'll
that
fuck
shit.
with the blue ones so
Hell yeah.
hard.
Dude, in buying these, I have provided one pair of sneakers.
What?
To who? I have no idea.
Provided a pair of sneakers?
Yeah, it says impact. One pair of sneakers donated.
To who?
I don't know.
Maybe they're so expensive that they bought themselves a pair of shoes.
Well, maybe good. I hope that they have very comfortable footwear. I hope so. But no, the packaging is dope. The it just goes so much in depth. Like, I mean, of course you have your own fucking, glasses cleaner and whatever. But on top of that, dude, this is what sold me right here.
Those matches?
Fuck yeah, they're matches.
Oh, you're supposed to smoke with them.
No.
Oh.
They're incense matches, bro.
You just light it and it smells?
Yeah. Check it out.
Oh, the smelly smells. That's so
Check it out.
smelly.
Does it smell like anchovies?
No, motherfucker.
If anybody got that.
What?
joke, bring it over here.
Hold on. You're going to be able to smell it. Just a second.
Yeah, stupid.
Rude.
Stupid.
Estúpido.
Stupid.
You can smell it from here.
I don't smell shit.
Bullshit.
Maybe I have COVID.
Oh, Jesus. You can totally smell that.
I think my set. Okay, so when my vision.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I don't know. My vision senses are so enlightened right now. It's taking away from my smell senses. I don't know. It smells like smoke to me.
You're telling me that doesn't smell like an incense.
Maybe if they were blue glasses.
Oh,
Shout
my
out!
God.
Give me some blue glasses. I bet those.
Come on,
incense
Future Mood. Give Edward Joseph some blue glasses. He'll shout
Yes.
them out on his next release. I'm trying to get sponsored by Future Mood just in and of itself, okay?
Future mood. That's what it is.
Future Mood. It's not the mood that you're in now. It's in the mood you're in the future. But anyway, I was very impressed with the entire setup of everything. And when I received these glasses, it was like, I wore them with my hair down and I was like, I'm not a huge fan. And then I put my hair up and
Let
I
me
was
ask you
spiked.
this: the first time you put these glasses on, what song started playing in your head?
Roadhouse Blues.
Roadhouse Blues. Mine's Marooned by Pink Floyd.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that song. I can listen to that entire album, Division Bell, from start to finish without being intoxicated
Totally.
and feel intoxicated.
Yep.
It's different. Like Marooned. Play that song for me at any given moment.
Yeah. You're just like,
Night. Oh, forget about it. Like
Yeah.
and here's the thing.
it's like, have you ever seen those? Remember those old like don't smoke weed commercials where the girl was like flat Stanley on the couch?
Oh
It's
yeah.
like she smoked the pot one time. Like that's what I feel like with
The
these
pot.
glasses. She's like flat.
Dude,
She's just motionless.
they're pretty next level though, huh?
Yeah, these are tight.
Right?
I straight up feel like I'm like on something.
Everyone was giving me shit when I got them. They're like, they're so big for your face. I'm like, have you worn them?
They are very Elton John-esque, but he's a fucking legend. Sir Elton John now.
So,
Sir Elton John. He's tight.
get fucked. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the people that don't like the glasses.
Oh,
God, you get so offended.
they're making me a little slow.
Because you're relaxed. Or is it that whiskey?
I don't know.
That Granger Stone? We've talked about 3 different shout outs. We got Future Mood, Grange Stone, and Pathwater.
Yeah, we're probably boring people to death right
Probably. Yeah. I would like to talk to you about your DJ career because, and we're going to kind of dive a little bit deep into, the roots and then where you're at right now. But
Yeah, totally.
you and I started becoming roommates in 2015 or 16? 2014? 15?
Roommates, I believe it was 15 because 2015, I was 20 when we moved into the house. I think you were 19.
Yeah,
So 2000,
that sounds about right.
2015 to 2017
17.
ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that time, you knew me as the musician,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew you as my best friend.
Right.
And that's just the best way to put it. You pretty much saw a whole bunch of shit, but it's funny because towards the end of our time being roommates, you started developing your own sound, finding your rhythm, developing your own artistry.
Identity,
Yeah.
I would put it as. Yeah, so I mean, growing up, I was always heavily influenced by music. I think a lot of people can relate to that. But at an early, like an adolescent age, I didn't have any ambitions to create.
In fact, you were interested in hockey.
Yeah,
That's
I had
that's
very
your one
much,
love.
very much other interests as far as like career paths and everything like that. But I've always known that I wanted to help people in some sort of way. So I was an athlete growing up, and I always either wanted to be like a doctor or a lawyer, like typical like Jewish kid parents influence.
Jesus
me to do that
Christ.
shit, it's the truth that you can't discount that. So I wanted to be a doctor for a long time because I encountered a lot of injuries, and I was like, okay, this is really cool. I want to be like team doctor or something like that. Why? Because I want to help people. But as I grew older, I knew that like that wasn't a good enough reason. Like, yeah, I want to help people with their broken bones and things like that. But like, I later came to realize that that wasn't enough depth of to why I want to help people. It wasn't until um, I started going to like rave events and things like that, and seeing, being in such close quarters with like time with Addie and stuff like that, and really figuring out like what my identity was. So I can't discount the fact that like going to raves and experimenting with, psychedelics and things like that, mind expanding drugs was what helped me create like figure out what my identity was, and then that's where I figured out that my heart is in music and the like what is provided for me, and the mental health issues that I've had in the past, and how it's helped me overcome them, see like show light to them, and provide such a
I'm
service
curious.
for me.
I'm curious. You say, the time with Addie era, and 99% of people that are listening to this have no idea what the time with Addie era is, and good.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest with you, I do this podcast because, I myself am a musician, but I don't do this to put myself out there. I do this to put other artists out there, mainly because I don't know most genres outside of my own. Right?
Yep.
You were with us, and by you with us, I mean like we were a group,
Right.
regardless of whether you were playing an instrument in the band or you were, living with it. Like you were a part of Time with Addie, regardless of how you look at it.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely, but you were surrounded.
Yeah.
From 2015 to 2017.
Yeah.
With music. I mean, we had the master bedroom was
a studio.
completely laid out as a studio. We recorded, we did everything we fucking could in there. And then as soon as it started to kind of trail off, you created your persona, or at least you started to develop your persona.
Yeah, I've always been a little bit more mainstream, I guess you can say, from our friend group. I've always been the most, like, you could say basic, I suppose.
Yeah.
You guys were always very, like, old souls, old fashioned, listening to old music from, like, older eras, and I was always keeping up to date with what was hot.
I think that's why you've probably gone farther than any of us have at this point. No bullshit. I mean that genuinely. Like you're
I don't
following.
want you. I don't want to where my head goes with that comment is like you're degrading yourself, and I don't think that's accurate. Because
No, I appreciate that, but at the same time, like you've kept relevant, and that's important.
I
you know,
have
You take modern elements and incorporate that into your music because you've been up to date. Whereas the rest of us were like, "Fuck the new thing that's going on."
You have to evolve. I feel it's in one way or another necessary to evolve to what's current to keep that crowd or
Mhm.
keep people's attention. I remember when I first started going to raves and things like that, and going into like the electronic music scene, and I remember like being dogged on by our friends, and because that's not real instruments or whatever. It was new, and you didn't want to.
You can just
know
tell
about
me
it.
that I was one of the party leaders of giving you shit. You can just say it to my face.
100%. But it's yeah, you were like, DJing.
I can press buttons.
Yeah, I can press play. Oh, this is gonna be so good. Dude, I started doing that. Fell in love with house music specifically. So like,
Well, not at first, right?
not at first. I'm not gonna lie. What brought me into the whole rave scene?
I think it's
was-
important for people to listen to the transition and then transgression, because I think a lot of people that got into the house scene and the EDM, or I'm sorry, house scene aside, the EDM scene, a lot of it is based off of doing modern drugs. A lot of it is all of a sudden there's this community of people that are doing these drugs, but they're not doing them to help themselves. They're doing it for their mental health, but it's not helping their mental health. And I kind of want to harp on that a little bit, and I want to hear your side.
Yeah.
These drugs aren't helping anyone. It's only helping them in the moment. And the more that they do that, and the more festivals that they go to and feel that community, they feel like it's okay for everyone. But there has to come a point when someone's like you and I experienced. No, like I do this as a source of relaxation and as an escape, but there's also real life.
Right.
And a lot of people lose themselves in that as if they think it's the end all be all. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yes. So when I first started raving and doing all that stuff, we were in a very like party stage of our lives.
Absolutely.
Very reckless. We're young and invincible type of deal.
To say the least.
Yeah. So I'm not going to discount that going to these events for the purpose of being able to like get fucked up in public. That I can't discount that that's one of the reasons that brought me there. I wasn't into the music yet.
I just want to say ahead of time, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Everyone should experience that.
Right.
I just feel like it's saturated at this point.
You can't discount that that's in one way or another an incentive,
Mhm.
because you can be fucked up and the person next to you is not going to judge you.
Right.
If you go to a rave and you say, "Oh, I didn't," I went sober or whatever, or you can do that. But if you go and you're like, "Oh, that's not what happens there," you're lying. You're wrong.
Right.
It's there. But I went and fell in love with what it had to offer, the acceptance, the vulnerability of the people that went. Just this other side of personalities that I wasn't really ever exposed to. I grew up very privileged in North Scottsdale, and people were backstabbing, and people just. I always had like people in my life that would push me around, and they would just did terrible things to each other because that's just the way that it was.
Is it interesting that people that grow up privileged backstab each other, whereas people that don't, that grow up poor, they everyone's just trying to help, and that's not always the case. Like, you have your shitheads that want to just fuck everyone out of a dime.
Right. But it was like.
But your rich friends are always like, hey, you remember that time I covered you? Yeah, $4.57. Go ahead and
They'll
Venmo me whenever you get the
nickel
chance.
and dime you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas you have your poor friends that are like, I got you, don't worry about it. Now, that could be a sentiment for rich stays rich, poor stays poor, but it also goes to the human perspective. I'm not saying every rich person is like this. I'm not saying every poor person is like this,
Yeah.
but there's a very
It's a
big
lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's a part of the lifestyle. I went to Desert Mountain, very bougie North Scottsdale. It was like, how can you one up the next person? Like, don't ever show a sign of vulnerability. Like, it's very toxic.
Do you think that's something that's taught in people that grow up privileged? Do you think that's just something that's taught like, this is how I got here. So do this.
one way or the highway?
Do you think so?
Yeah. So
Do you think that's helpful?
no,
How so?
absolutely not. That's where I butt heads with my parents a lot. Is I grew up being influenced to not take risks, which is very unfortunate. I mean, and my parents are great. I had an amazing childhood and everything like that. But
I personally love your parents.
they're great. My parents, they're not to be fucked with. They're tight.
They're fucking legit.
But it's taken a long time for me to have this friendship relationship as opposed to like a upper to a lower, hierarchy type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
To where they didn't.
Well, you're an adult now.
Yeah, they didn't want my sister and I to do anything that was going to be risky. They want us to take the safe way, do things that are going to make you the most money, but not necessarily things that are going to make you the most happy, which is what I always believed since I was young. And I had so many ideas of what I wanted to do when I grew up, but they were all like things that were going to make you a lot of money. Ultimately, might not make me the happiest. However,
But if you don't take risks,
then you're not going to know what you like and you don't like. You
Right.
could have an interest in something and then try it and be like, you know what, I actually don't want to fucking do this. But if you don't experience that, you're never going to know. So that's where we kind of always butt heads, because I was like, I want to do this, and like, but there's no money in it, or there's too much of a risk, or like, what if you spend all these years doing it and then you fail, and then now you're thrown into life years later, or just whatever the fuck.
Whatever
was
it may
but
be.
at least I learned that was what it was. So back to like the whole music career thing is the service that music has provided to me. I want to be able to provide to others. I want to help people in that way. It's immensely helped with my mental health issues that anxiety and depression runs in my family heavily, like mental illness, all that deal. I think everybody can relate in one way or another, but I want to make.
I'm going to stop you real quick. I can't relate.
You can't relate to mental illness or anxiety.
I can relate to mental illness, but anxiety and depression, I struggle with.
Struggle relating to or struggle.
Correct, because much in the same way where you were brought up with your parents that didn't want you to make any risks.
Yeah.
For the sole purpose of being successful, my parents, anxiety is not a thing, quote unquote, right? Depression's not a thing, quote unquote. You put yourself in that mindset. You put yourself in that stressful whatever. Now, I'm an idiot. And one of the main reasons why I wanted to start this podcast was to have conversations with people to get me to understand things that I don't understand whatsoever.
Right.
And you being my best friend since I was 4 or 5 years old, you've seen this more often than not. I get depressed. I get, nervous. But I don't ever let that, you'll never see it from first meeting. You'll never see it.
Right. I mean, a lot of people are that way as well.
So
I will say this, with having an upbringing similar to mine, where risk taking and taking the safe way are, pushed upon you, I think that's where a lot of anxiety is stemmed from. Because
but I was never brought up that way.
Right. That's why you don't understand.
Correct.
So like, if I'm always taught to just not take the risk, there's always going to be that anxiety to put yourself out into a situation that is going to make you the happiest, but it might not work. So like with yourself, you've always been blooming a little bit more than I have. Putting something online or expressing your feelings in a way that you don't really fucking care what people are going to think because that's the way that you think. Me, on the other hand, I'm going to second guess myself 5 times before I put something out there because I was taught to just do what's going to be the safest thing to do.
Do you think that has something to reference with the music industry nowadays? Whereas back in the day, before you and I were even fucking born, there would be some dude sitting there and they're listening to Steely Dan or Led Zeppelin and they're going out on this fucking tangent. And it's not catchy at first. It's not something that grabs you by the balls and it's like, listen, none of that. But that person's listening and it's like, go ahead, see if it sells. Go ahead.
Right.
Put it on the radio, see if it sells. And it does. And they make ass tons of money. Whereas nowadays, you have the people that are assessing risks. If it's not catchy, if it's not something that speaks the message that's going on at the time, and I mean that in terms of, 2012 to 2018, it was all about heartbreak and I love you and you're my this and you're my that, but also go fuck yourself. I'm gonna be my own. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do me. There's two different sides, but that's what sold. It's you're not loyal or I only fuck with loyal people. That's what sold from 2012 to 2018. Not anything else that had to do with, anything. There's so much other lyrical content or just music content that can sell that most people that are in radio, they're just looking for what sells. Not,
Right.
well, let's give it a shot.
That's where like big labels come into play.
Correct.
It's all about the money. I think where people kind of get drowned in the music industry, from what I've experienced, is when they're just trying to solely put something out to relate to somebody. And I think where that kind of gets in the gray area is I think people are going to relate to you if you're solely talking about how you feel and what you want to accomplish in your life.
100%.
As opposed to like me writing a song about your childhood, but I didn't experience it, but I'm trying to relate to you.
Right.
It's not going to fucking sell. So how is that going to work? Why are you trying to live a life that you didn't experience? Doesn't make sense to me. So I think where the music that I want to make is solely about what I've experienced and what I've learned and who I am and everything like that. I think that's sellable. I think it's more relatable if I'm speaking from experience and from like my heart as opposed to just what people want to hear, I guess.
Perfect. Going back to, you do an excellent job of making sure that your music is something that fits you.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone
Thank
else
you.
listens, that's just a plus. Am I right or wrong?
That's 100%. I appreciate it also.
Well, it shows. I mean, and this isn't to say like, oh, this isn't something I would listen to, but it's something that that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is you do what you would vibe to, and then if anyone else is like, I fuck with that, you're like, okay, well, yeah, that's what I'm doing it for. It kind of shows commonality between you as a listener, a human, and an artist. You're connecting yourself from an artist to the human listening. I think there's a lot of people out there that want to do better things than what they're doing right now. Difference is, not only are you doing it, but you're relating to those individuals.
Yeah. When I create, I in no way, shape, or form like trying to get everybody to understand. I think I'm just trying to make the best music that I can make. That comes from the heart. So there's going to be people that listen. They're like, I don't understand at all. I don't get it. I don't like house. I don't like the EDM. I don't get it.
You didn't
So,
start
like,
with house, though.
I mean, that's where I've landed. That's where my heart is at
Correct.
the moment.
Where did you
So,
start though?
as far as creating,
Yeah.
producing, it was house music.
When you started.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get that. Now, I'm also an idiot when it comes to electronic music, regardless of whether it's house or whether
Where
it's
did-
EDM
where-
or whatever, but I didn't get that when I first listened.
My first love wasn't house music.
No.
My first love wasn't.
What
So
what category
back-
would you put it in?
So what really has still to this day such a huge influence is the group Odessa. That's like really just put me into like the whole EDM world. That's the biggest influence that I've had, and it's not all house music. It's very little house music actually.
What is it?
It's hard to even put it in a category. I think it's just to say like it's just electronic music. I mean, I don't even know what category Odessa is in. They're just I don't even know. It's just EDM.
Yeah,
It's electronically produced music.
correct.
But oh shit. What got me into the scene obviously was the party and what it promoted. And then the music that I discovered was Odessa, and then I found out I learned what house music was, and it's very much percussion based, and that's where I started. Like that's what really drove me into the house and techno scene. It's primarily drum based.
You know what's interesting on that though is we lived in a household
Mhm.
where that's majority. That's where you were surrounded around. That's what
like
you were
what
surrounded
I
around.
liked the most. That's what. I
And you
started
wanted to
doing.
jump on the drum set.
Right.
You would watch me on the drum set behind you. Like that's where we created
Exactly.
a lot of the music.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to demean anything. I more or less I want people that listen to this who might be around that atmosphere or aren't around that atmosphere to kind of put pieces together and realize that it's okay to come from a certain genre and transcend to the next. Like your genre of music is your deep house
Mm-hmm.
is nowhere near what we were doing
Yeah, not even
in the
close.
house. Not even close. But you were around it all the time.
Yeah. So one thing that I fell in love with house music is just it undeniably makes you move, and that's what kind of broke me out of my shell. And it's the percussion; it makes you move. It's the four on the floor. It's the boots and cats that makes you move. The drums are the back.
Boots and cats.
Boots and cats. Boots like when you hear that it's boots and cats. That's what
Right.
people say. But I mean, the drums are the backbone to every song ever. It's the metronome in your ear. It's what's keeping everything else in line. It's the spine, right? It's what's keeping everything upright and in a line, and that's something that I've always found a liking to, and that's what house music has done for me, and that's where I started. It's when I used to get dogged on by the guys of like they're DJs and they're just pressing buttons and they're not playing real instruments because you didn't understand. And then you realize that those are the masterminds of what's coming out of the speakers. You understand that real instruments aren't being played, but every fucking sound that came out of those speakers is something that they created.
When you say that, is that a DJ or is that a producer?
So almost all producers are DJs, but not every DJ is a producer.
In the sense of producers make their own music, DJs take other people's
And play other
creations
people's music,
and
yeah.
mash them up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you are
A producer.
a producer. You write your own
Producer
music.
first, DJ second.
Got it.
Yeah.
But you were a DJ first,
Yes.
and then you became a producer, and then it
Yes.
Took a
so
second.
I realized I was like, I want to do that. That's cool. Found what kind of music I liked. Started learning what it took to, what they're doing up there first with the DJ boards. I think if you have to figure out why you want to do it first. If you want to do it for the party and the the clout and all that shit, you're gonna fail.
You're gonna fail.
You're gonna fail because you don't have. If you like, a lot of people want DJing and producing is like the thing to do right now. Everybody fucking wants to be a DJ, and anybody can be a DJ. But you're only gonna get so far unless you start creating your own music. But you're not gonna be able to create your own music if you don't have heart in what you're doing. A DJ lifestyle is very much promoted as parties and girls and this crazy lifestyle, but that's what a lot of people are drawn to. They're just like, if I can do that, then I become like, it's like a rock star lifestyle. Everybody wants that, but then you realize that
Rockstar lifestyle is dead. Let's call it what it is.
Modern age rock star lifestyle. Whether it's literally like rock star lifestyle
Right.
or like DJ, it's
what the idealistic
rock star. I'm using
Rockstar.
that in a loose term. I think if you just do it for that, you're gonna end up like running yourself into the ground. It's not healthy. But anyway, I was like, I want to do that. You know, I'm seeing how it's affecting me. I'm seeing how this person is affecting me in such a positive way. I want to be able to do that for someone else. So that's where I wanted to start producing and DJing, and these glasses got me fucked up right now. Like losing my
hashtag future mood.
like losing my train of thought. Back
Because
to
you're so relaxed.
DJing and producing, but I want to provide the service that they've done for me.
So let me ask you this. You know, you brought up mental health a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You brought up your privileged background a decent amount. My question to you is, for those that are listening that you know may look at this conversation as, well, no wonder he's a DJ. What I don't know if people realize the struggle that gets someone like yourself who was more worried about risk and not about putting themselves out there. What was that turning point where you were like, fuck it, I'm going to break through the boundaries of what anyone that goes into the music industry is a risk. It's a risk.
Huge.
So at what point were you like, fuck it, I'm just going to do it? You know, yeah, you had a good amount of experience with mainstream media.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you went to raves.
Mm-hmm.
You did your, I guess, quote unquote, back end research. You were an audience member before you were an artist. At what point did you turn everything around and say, I'm going to be the guy that people listen to?
Full disclaimer, I'm not promoting being rebellious. I'm not promoting dropping out of school. I'm not promoting, any of that stuff. But it was when I stopped going to school in the 730.
I do remember
that
this.
was the turning point. That was
you called me.
That was when the second part of my life started.
I think it was before the 730.
No, I dropped out of college.
Was it in the 730?
730.
I think I remember you calling me.
And the reason why I stopped was because it was a long time coming, but
Right.
What came to fruition was I was not living my life for me. The second part of my life started when I started living my life for me and not for the sole purpose of making my parents proud or doing what's objectively right. And I wasn't questioning everything that happened to me in my life. I'm like, oh, this person treated me like shit. I just took it. This person's pushing me around. I just took it. These people are influencing me to do something I don't want to do, and I just let it happen because I was like, this is what happens. This is life. Shit happens, whatever. But
what was that shift?
What was it?
Yeah.
Of what? Like
what? At what point were you fed up?
I was so lost. I was like, why am I going to school? Why am I doing this? I know the outcome could be great, whatever, but like, I don't want to just possibly have all the money that I can have. And I think it was like working in the restaurant that I was working at Olive & Ivy, serving like these millionaires, super, super well-off, financially stable people, that they're always just the most unhappy people that I was exposed to. Just because they have a ton of money does not mean that they're the happiest people. And that really hit me hard every time I'm serving these private dining parties. These very, very wealthy people, they're spending thousands of dollars on dinners and everything like that. But sometimes people would get drunk and then they would come up to me, the server, and start bitching about things in their life. And I'm just like, but in my head, I'm like, you have so much money. Like, you are millionaires. You can do whatever the fuck you want in your life. But like, that does not mean that you're going to be the most happy. And that's when I was like, this chasing money all the time. Money comes and goes no matter what. And I always just growing up in like a very privileged lifestyle, and I became to believe that like that was what's going to make me happy. My parents were like, if you don't have a lot of money, there's no way you're going to be happy. That's what I grew up on, and that's what was stuck into my head until about like 22 years old. And then in the 730, I'm like going to school and doing all these things, and I'm sitting in school learning all these great subjects, but I'm just like, I have no fucking interest in this. What the fuck? I know for a fact that this is not what is going to help me be who I want to be. It was when I started questioning things and why do people say don't do this? Why do people say do this? I just kind of just like got pushed around and just like went with the flow. And I was like, but the other people in the 730 didn't. And I related to you guys. So I looked up to you guys so much for just doing what the fuck you wanted to do. And yes, we were in the same place doing the same things, but you were like just so much happier with yourself than I was. And I was like, why am I not? It was because I wasn't living for me. I wasn't doing what the fuck I wanted to do every second of every day. You make hundreds of choices a day that you don't even realize you're doing. But who are you doing it for, and why are you doing it? Are you doing it because somebody else said it was right, or are you doing it because you know that's going to be the best for you and what's going to make you happy? It comes down to so many people I see like going to college and graduating with degrees and then getting out and then like not doing anything with their majors, or something in school. It's like, why are they telling you that? Why does the DARE program exist? Why drugs are bad? Don't do drugs. Why?
When it comes to the DARE program, I was the only kid, as far as I know, in 5th grade when the DARE program came out, and they were like, there's a drug called cocaine where people just stomp with their feet, and they put gasoline, and they have nowhere to go to the bathroom, so they take a piss and they fucking piss all over that. And I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna do that.
Right.
And then they started talking about LSD. They're sitting here talking about acid, and I'm like, wait, there's a drug that can make you see things that aren't really there? Sign my ass up. Like, I knew in 5th grade that I was going to do that shit. So I don't know if DARE's really the most effective program.
It's not. And the people, every single person that I know that was heavily like balls deep in DARE are fucked up.
I wouldn't say I was heavily deep in DARE,
but they're not teaching you like, why are drugs bad? Is it because you're gonna end up with fucking scars on yourself?
Right.
They're not telling you that drugs are bad because they're addictive.
Right.
And you're gonna like them too much.
It's the same thing with high school. They don't tell you about taxes. They don't tell you about saving money. They teach you about geometry and about fucking if X equals Y, then what is Z? And you're like, I don't fucking know, nor do I give a fuck.
Right. So for a very small portion of people that are going to be like architects and whatever the fuck, like that only applies to a very, very, very specific type of person. For the majority of people, especially in our generation, even before, especially Gen Z and anything that comes out after, whatever the fuck they're teaching in school, they're probably not going to use.
No.
Like, why are you not teaching kids how to why are you not teaching kids about credit?
Yeah.
And finance and
why would you teach kids about credit if you taught them the smart ways on how to be very financially independent? But we have an institution that only thrives on people fucking their credit.
capitalism.
Exactly.
But like, how are they?
Capitalism is a great thing, though. It is. I do believe that capitalism is a great thing in the sense of people just need to own their shit. The difference is we're not teaching those people how to own their shit, and so they become victims to the system. And when they're victims to the system, capitalism shoots up. But capitalism isn't about shooting up. It's about progressively getting to a point where you're self-sufficient. The difference is, as of right now, we have people that don't agree with capitalism because they were never taught the rules of capitalism. And so anyone that's never taught the rules of capitalism, who's going up against the rules of capitalism, is going to fail immediately.
Yeah.
So of course they're going to be against it. But at the same time, capitalism is the only reason that we have everything that we have right now.
Right.
At the end of the day.
Every year the value of a dollar decreases. So why are we still teaching kids? Why are we not teaching kids how to be successful in a?
Because that's detrimental to our economy.
There's so many things that like
you saw the thing that happened with GameStop this past week. A whole bunch of people decided, fuck stock market, fuck the New York Stock Exchange. We're just gonna fucking drive the price of GameStop up because and I found this out. A whole bunch of people that had invested into GameStop, they bought based off of covers. So they bought a whole bunch of shares that they were expected to pay back. Someone found this out and said, okay, bitch. Every one of my followers drive that shit up. Buy into fucking GameStop. They bought it up. And eventually, the people that bought based off of a cover, I mean, those people weren't able to pay their loans back because the price of GameStop went up to like $350. $400, which is honestly, in the grand scheme of things, is fucking sweet. If you take a step back, like, yeah, the people that are invested in the stock market, which I am, like I trade stocks, I have my own portfolio and everything else, but for being a common man, like a simpleton, like below, like lower class, barely middle class, if that, I don't even know if I can call myself that. Taking a step back and looking at that whole thing and watching like the lower class be like, fuck these people. I'm going to invest all my money in this for the sole purpose of the people that own the 1% to lose millions of dollars was kind of cool. I don't know if I necessarily agree with everything that went on, but at the same time, like knowing the amount of power that the lower class has against the rich, and the rich has been able to do all these things for so long, it's kind of empowering. Like, you know, the rich, the 1%, the whatever you want to call them, they have this manipulation tool where they know inside stocks, they know what's going on with the trade, they know everything that's going on, and they're able to kind of fluctuate and manipulate the stock market. Whereas there's people like myself that, you know, we throw money into the stock market, not really knowing what we're doing. But then when it goes up, it goes up. And when it goes down, it goes down. And that's all we know. This was my type of person being able to create an influence on a company that a whole bunch of people that had maybe, you know, 100-200 shares, but they were covering themselves just to kind of see how the market went. It drove the fuck up.
See, this is all over my head right now.
And they weren't able to cover their bases.
Right. So this is beyond me because I don't know shit about the stock market.
Oh, dude.
But I've like
it's like a revolution.
Read subtlety things, but this is like what we're talking about. Is like I wish I knew. I wish I was taught that in school, maybe like how to pay a bill or how to get credit, all that shit, like in school. That we're I think a lot of subjects in school are not relevant to.
I've noticed this about you recently.
Sustain life.
You've taken much more interest in politics recently.
It's hard not to.
Right?
In 2020.
Absolutely.
I remember when we lived in the house and it was like around when Trump got elected. And
Oh,
you-
I went
and
to
you
the
were
Mormon
You were
church.
the only one that voted
Yeah.
in the house because you were like a registered voter at like 18. And you were like, "Are you voting?" And we're just like, "No." And you're like, "Why?" Like, this is why. I remember you screaming at us. You're like, "It's because." I remember you got in mine and Bane's face and we were super annoyed. So you were like, "Motherfuckers like you who don't know and think that your vote doesn't matter. This is why shit like this happens." This is like right at the beginning of Trump's
Yeah.
presidency. But I was like, I was literally never, ever, 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 ever educated on politics back then. Yes, I fully understood that every vote mattered. But if I was not educated, then why would I vote?
But here's
Potentially causing the start of something. So now in 2020 and 2019, whatever, the whole Trump presidency fucked. So if you're saying now that you're uneducated, it's wrong because of the day of social media and everything's exposure to
right.
modern day media. If you say that you're uneducated, you're fucking wrong. Shut the fuck up. You're a part of the problem, clearly, if you don't want to talk about it.
You're just not accepting the information that's being given to you.
Well, if
But
you say
the
that
problem
nothing
is
wrong, and you're like, I mean, again, like we're very liberal, so like if for the people that come into Verdura with no mask on and they want to fight about it, like you're a part of the fucking problem. Like, how do you not see the problem?
Here's the thing. I don't like to disclaim myself as a liberal. I'm an independent because I agree with both sides, but I'm much more left leaning in terms of humanitarian issues. Right? You know, when it comes to immigration, we got to simplify that shit. It shouldn't take 10 fucking years for someone to figure out what paperwork and what devices they need to go through to get into this country. It shouldn't take 10 years. You want to be in this country? Okay, great. Let's figure out a much simpler way for you to be in this country and be an American citizen, right?
Right. It's so
When it
sad
comes
to
to-
see that like people would come to America for a better life, and now everyone's trying to get out.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say everyone's trying to get out.
A lot of people are having the thoughts of maybe somewhere else would be more.
Yeah,
happy life.
but what I will say is, you know, Bernie Sanders, even though he's not where I hoped he would be, because you know me, I was a Bernie Sanders fan since the get-go.
Who was the guy we had a poster of in our house?
Oh,
For a bit.
Fred. Get head with Fred.
Get ahead with Fred. We had this gigantic cardboard cutout.
I think
I'd rather not talk about politics like super heavy. But we had this cardboard cutout of Get Head with Fred. I don't even know.
I forget
don't
what his
even
last
know
name
who the
was, but
fucking
it's
motherfucker
because
is.
someone decided that the best slogan for him in Arizona was "Get ahead with Fred."
Get Ahead
So
with Fred.
we
yeah.
just cut out the A
we-
and put "Get Head
like
with
a-
Fred," and that was our fucking poster
I
frame.
think I'm gonna send this.
Please tell me you have that as a.
I don't
save.
have the photo, but I think it's in the background of a photo that I have. I can't see shit with these things on. I have a photo of
Hey.
me with like a beer bong in that house, and I'm pretty sure that the Get Head with Fred is in the background. I think it's on my Twitter.
Easily one of the. We were scared.
Plug my Twitter.
We were scared to grab that sign. And
Yeah,
I think
it's
we can
not
say this now.
legal.
I think we can say this now because it's past the 2-year statute of limitations.
Not legal to take a political sign out of the ground.
Well, we
I
did.
assume, right? Oh, I'm covering it, but like it's there.
Oh, damn it! You're covering the entire thing.
It's there though. Whatever.
Either way,
And there's also a Bernie flag
is there?
below it.
Do you remember when I put that on my dad's car? He was so not impressed. But no, like not to talk too big into politics, but like, you know, people don't get taught these things in school, and
No,
then
they don't.
and then they're released into the wild, and it's like, surprise, bitch. You're expected to know all this shit. Okay, well, what happens when you take someone like myself, who didn't have that close of a relationship with my parents, right? And even my parents didn't have that great of a relationship with bill collectors, with debt collectors, with rent collectors, with landlords. Like what do you do with that person, right?
I remember hearing you on the phone when we lived together.
Oh,
just like, hold on, a debt collector's calling me. And you'd be running around the house just screaming at this poor guy, putting him through fucking hell. I'll never forget one day, you're just like, yeah, I hear everything you're saying, but answer me this. How do I feel like I'm not getting fucked in the ass by a sandpaper dildo right now, John? And me and Bane are just like, oh. So I was like, I want to say that to somebody on the phone. You know? I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah,
But no risk taking.
They're
But you know what? They didn't get none of your money.
risk taking.
They didn't get any of your money.
I think it's a very interesting topic when it comes to
Debt collectors calling me.
when it comes to people handling real life situations that have never been put through the ringer like that before. It's a different story. It's a completely different story. And I'll be honest with you,
How would one say that they relax in that situation?
dude, I haven't been able to relax since 2015.
I haven't been able to relax since I put these glasses on. I like blue, but the green ones are tight. Shout out Future Mood. I look incredibly douchey. I'm sure I can't even see myself in this.
Edward Joseph wants blue Future Mood glasses. If we could make that happen, that'd be great. People that have listened to this podcast thus far, for the most part, haven't heard you as an artist, right? Have heard you as a person, which is honestly what I wanted. I just wanted to have a conversation. You're my best friend. I just wanted to have a conversation with you.
Right. I just do what I have to do. And I've always been like a quiet person, so I like to move in silence.
Good.
I see a lot of people just like posting their Ableton files every day to just prove that they're doing something. And I'm sure they get great recognition, but I think that like positive affirmation that you're seeking is kind of unhealthy. And it's probably slowing down your progression. For me specifically, if I like everything.
Talking about me?
No.
You're not wrong.
No, I'm talking about like, other producers that I know and follow and everything like that. They're like, in the stew. I'm like, okay. You're going to release something? Well, if you prove that you're working, you have to follow up with something. And a lot of times I don't see anything. I mean, every once in a while I'll like post something that I'm really proud of, but like I'm still learning every day. So I'm not like, just learn this new thing.
The one thing that I will say, we're coming up on about 2.5 hours here. The one thing I will say about your music, as opposed to, most DJs, is you write your own music.
Yeah.
And that might be new, but you've always had that thought. That was always the game plan. Is, let me get really good at mixing music, and then let me write my own, and then mix those two together.
Yeah, a lot of people, they'll try to like open Ableton and try to make a hit, and that's not a recipe for success, at least for where I'm at in my knowledge. I think if you just try to just make the best quality sound that you can, everything else will kind of fall into place on its own. At the beginning of my production, I used to sit there and I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a hit.
It's not how it goes.
They're going to fucking quit.
Yeah.
You have to learn step by step on how to do what you want to do instead of looking at the bigger picture. It will come, but you have to do things one step at a time.
I want to have this exact conversation with you in about 6 to 9 months.
Yeah.
After you release your next EP.
Mm-hmm. I already have. So I have like a year's worth of music done, but I could release every month for a year. But in order to get the most success, I believe, out of it, is like you have to pitch to labels and everything like that. There are things that I sell for
The fuck you
release.
do?
Yeah, it's crazy. I wish the unfortunate reality of what I want to do is I wish I could just make something and be proud of it and then just put it out and then it become what it is. But in order to reach the most people, you're not going to make money. I'm not trying to make money, but in order to reach the most people, get the audience that you want, whatever, you have to pitch to these labels and you have to get them to release your music on their labels so then all of their followers can get to you. It's the streaming of social media is nuts. It's all the age of social media.
We will talk about labels and everything next time.
Yeah, totally. So for now, my Instagram and SoundCloud.
Fuck you. I only say that because you're doing everything right.
Thanks.
Like, you're networking yourself correctly. You have I see your Instagram stories and you have, you'll post your thing and then 5 or 6 people will be like, oh, check this, check this, check this, check this. And it's all in reference to you, which is great. You're doing everything correctly. More people need to check out non-licensed artists,
Right.
so to speak. And I
Those are
guarantee
good.
most of them will probably feel something a lot different than when they feel, people that are signed to a label. Did I say label? I meant label.
I mean, there's talent everywhere you look. I think people are scared to dive into new artists. Sometimes find myself listening to the same music over and over and over again and not looking for new things. But it's just about how you market yourself. I think it's about how many people you reach and everything like that.
Should it be about how you market yourself, or should it be about the quality of content
Well,
you put out?
They go hand in hand. But if I put out the best song ever, but I don't promote it, how's that gonna?
That's up to the audience, in my opinion.
Promotion is
And
how
to be
you
fair,
get.
I'm really fucking tired of artists putting everything into a song and then putting every one of their financial everything into promoting the song when they just need their friends. Here's the issue that I have.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Hold on. Here's the issue I have. If I have 5 friends and I put out a banger, I expect all 5 of my friends to tell their friends about the song.
But that's
Here's the
not
issue.
Good because
Here's the
you
issue.
can't expect them to. You can't rely on them for your success.
You know why they're not going to do it? Because they have nothing going on.
Right, so they beat themselves up.
Correct.
About somebody else progressing. But
Correct.
Like, if they're your real friends, they'll support you.
Exactly.
So, do you have the right people in your circle? Because at the end of the day, you hear all these artists are like fame, money, success doesn't mean shit unless you have the close quarters of people that you have. One of my biggest fears is not being able to determine who wants me for what I have and who wants me for who I am.
Correct.
That's one of the biggest fears that I have. I mean, obviously, I have a very big goal of being famous or whatever, but like, that's not what I live for.
You know what's funny?
every
You and I
day.
both have that goal, but where did that goal stem from?
I mean, I don't know, wanting to help others and things like that. But I have a fear of like somebody wanting to just be a part of my life because of the things that I've done and things that I have. I want people to like me for me. Say I'm the biggest person in the world one day. I want somebody to want to be in my life for who I am and not for what I have. And I've already experienced that. Oh, dude, like the first show that I got, the first flyer that I got, like my name on, my face on, I had people hitting me up and they're just like, hey, remember me from high school? Like, you're doing that thing. And I'm like, yo, go fuck yourself, dog. Didn't say that, but I was like, I didn't answer or whatever.
But
I was
it's
like,
it's
they
in the
come out of
same
word
it's in the same
works.
aspect where you're like, who the fuck are you?
Where
And
the
did
fuck
you
are
give a
at?
fuck about me when I was coming up?
Right.
Right? You know, that's kind of what I'm speaking to in terms of I'm doing this podcast and I can reach out to eons of people and they're like, yeah, sounds great. It's not until I get one of their fucking idols on that they're going to be like, oh my God, I followed it
Right.
from the beginning.
So
the fuck you
you're-
did.
So everybody, clout is the thing. Internet fame is clout. That's what that is. So if somebody reaches, so if you're at a point in their career like me, somebody reaches out, whether say I didn't know you at all, Upstream Podcast wants to have me on, I would be a fool to not take that opportunity, even though it has 100 and something followers. That's it. That's 100 and something followers that you didn't you weren't reaching before. So people are like passing up opportunities because those numbers aren't correlating to like what they want it to be, but you have to build it. You have to build it up. If you're passing up these opportunities, you don't, it's that risk taking again. So like, you don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who's going to listen to this. I don't know who's going to listen to this and be like, that dude, and somebody is able to help me progress in my career. It takes one person, it takes one listener, one, right? Busking on Mill Ave.
That's right.
When we used to do that. You don't know
We
who
used
the
to
fuck,
do that.
You don't know who's driving by, you don't know who's walking by, but there's so many people that would pass up that opportunity to do that. Those risk takings.
I agree with everything you're saying. And it just makes me happy because you and I are on the same page. But we're coming up on like 3 hours right now.
No, it's cool. It's postponed. Hopefully it gets chopped so it's not straight up 3-hour podcast. Because honestly, I wouldn't listen to it either if it was 3 hours. But
Yes, you would. Let us know. Let us know where we can find you.
Yeah. I'm on Spotify and Apple Music. Edward Joseph, normal spelling, EDWARDJOSEPH. My Instagram and SoundCloud is at Edward Joseph C, EDWRDJOSPHC.
Here's the reality of it. You know, Eddie is one of my best friends. We've been friends for absolute years. I had him on because out of all of my friends, he's the one that's progressing through the ranks in terms of musicality, in terms of finding out who he is as a person and finding out who he is as an artist. He's doing the things that most people don't do in terms of locking himself in a room, making sure that the product that he's trying to release is perfect, and not really giving a fuck about anything else. No outside commentary, outside nothing. At the end of the day, I had him on the show because I wanted to have a conversation so that everyone around the Upstream podcast could understand who he is as a person and then can listen to his music and think about, yeah, I get it. I get it. I understand where he's coming from. And I hope that everyone from here on forward understands that message. Thank you so much for listening to the Upstream podcast. This especially has been just a really eye-opening and close interview for me because I love you to death. You're my boy. You'll always be my boy. But also, very few times in 2021 do we get to have conversations like this that are uninterrupted
Right.
by phones, by social media, by this, by that, by anything else. So thank you for listening, and definitely check out my boy, Edward Joseph. Thank you very much, my brother. I appreciate you. Cheers to you.
Cheers. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Big ups, good eye.